Hey, what's up, everybody? It's the Black Avenger, Lee Sanders, coming at you live right now on blogtalkradio.com and over at our sister website at infinityoneproductions.com. Man, shout out to those of you that's checking us out on Stitcher right now. Hey, we got a jam-packed episode tonight. We're going to be talking about the fallout from WWE Raw just 24 hours ago. We're also going to be talking about the very latest in WWE-related news, and we got some really great in-depth segments that's going to be coming up in the later part of the show. And, of course, as always, we'll open up the phone lines, get you all's reactions, as we definitely want to know if you are sold for the TLC pay-per-view that's going to be coming up from WWE this Sunday. Hey, we got the chat room that's open right now at blogtalkradio.com/the RCWR Show. Feel free to jump on in there when you get a free moment. You can also interact with us during the course of this episode by hitting us up on Twitter at Infinity1Prod. While you're at it, take the time out to like us on Facebook. That's right, you can hit us up on Facebook at Infinity One Productions, where we cover a little bit of everything, so much more than wrestling. Check that out. It's always updated with fresh content, daily basis. You'll love it, trust me. All right, so I hope everybody had a pretty solid weekend. I hope that the work week has been going good so far for most of you, if not all of you. Got a solid week there of football, really great right there. You know, I'm still tripping over that really great football game that we had got on Sunday, where the Redskins, they just pulled an upset victory over the Baltimore Ravens. It was one of those type of games. That was truly one of the best games, and it doesn't even matter if you're a Ravens fan or a Redskins fan. Just the way that game was just going right into OT, that was just really probably one of the best football games I've seen this season. One of the top three, I would say. Really great game. You know, real tough act to follow with the other games that were to come later. Let's not forget, we had saw the New York Giants. They were playing, and they just was scoring left and right. There was really no reason to pay attention to that game. Then the NBC Sunday Night Football, that was okay too, but nothing had beat that first game that we had got on Sunday. Some really great stuff right there. And, so, you know, let's go ahead and let's talk about what had happened on WWE Raw this past Monday night. On that note, this was the final installment. This was the road needed as WWE was making their way to the TLC pay-per-view. And if there was ever a time where WWE really needed to sell a pay-per-view, it was this past Monday night, as this is pretty much their final pay-per-view for this calendar year. Next up is going to be the Royal Rumble, and they really hit a home run with last night's episode, I feel. It was one of those type of episodes that just really had me kick back and say, you know what, this is how Raw needs to be executed on a regular basis, but there could still use some fine-tuning with that third hour. That is just really where they're struggling the most right now, I feel. But I'll get into more about that later on. Let's talk about how Raw had kicked off. And it's not every day on the RCWR Show that we kick back and we say this. Raw actually began with Mr. Show-Off, Dolph Ziggler. Yeah, I repeat, Raw actually kicked off with Mr. Show-Off, Dolph Ziggler, who is on top of the ladder, and he's got his Money in the Bank briefcase boosting about how he feels. He's on top of the world right now. And that, hey, when it comes to John Cena has had opportunity after opportunity after opportunity over the years, especially this year alone, at becoming a champion, and he just has been coming up short. Ziggler feels that Cena, he doesn't deserve any more chances, and as far as he's concerned, come this Sunday at TLC, he's going to prove why he is the future of the business when he defeats the 10-time WWE champion, John Cena. Really great, strong promo from Ziggler right here. I love the fact that ever since they've separated Dolph Ziggler from Vicky, it seems like Ziggler has been getting more and more comfortable in his own skin. I mean, we know he was comfortable in his own skin when it comes to the ring, but it just seems like now more and more WWE brass is really starting to let loose and letting him cut his promos as they feel he's been really coming off better. And you can just tell on a weekly basis he just gets better and better on the mic, really loving it. You know, we saw Sheamus, former World Heavyweight Champion, come out, and he tells Dolph Ziggler, hey, look, I don't even think that you're going to be the one I'm going to be facing, because when it comes to TLC, hey, Ziggler, I'm going to be defeating the Big Show to become the new World Heavyweight Champion. And quite honestly, I know I'm going to win my match at Sunday's pay-per-view. But you defeating John Cena, I just don't see that happening. I got Cena beating you, and it's going to be Cena that I'm going to be facing for the World Heavyweight Championship. Well, Big Show gets thrown into the mix. He comes out. He tells both guys that they are delusional as hell, and that, hey, when it comes to Dolph Ziggler, he says, hey, look, you can try to cash in that Money in the Bank briefcase. If you end up still retaining it, and you can try to cash it on me, I'm going to knock your head off. I'm keeping the title. Sheamus, I'm going to knock you out so bad, I'm going to knock off the white skin from your bones. Really great stuff right here from the Big Show. Big Show, that's another one that has just been really getting more and more loose within the past couple of weeks. I have really been enjoying Paul White's run as the World Heavyweight Champion in recent months. Some really solid stuff right here. So we see all these guys, they are just going back and forth on the mic. And, of course, for those of you that might have missed it from SmackDown this past Friday night, it was revealed during a contract signing that Booker T had Sheamus and the Big Show signed that clearly states that until the TLC pay-per-view, they could not come in any type of direct physical contact with each other. Now, in the case of Sheamus, if it happens, Sheamus, he loses his shot. He doesn't get a crack at that World Heavyweight title. Now, Big Show, on the other hand, if he ends up touching Sheamus, correct me if I'm wrong here, guys, but if I'm not mistaken, if he touches Sheamus, he loses his World Heavyweight title. I'm 100% sure that's exactly the stipulation on Big Show's side. So, two guys, they can't touch each other, and you know that. You got to keep that in the back of your mind, as we saw Sheamus tell Big Show, well, you know, given the contract we signed on Friday Night SmackDown, I can't touch you, but I know I can touch you. And, of course, we still see Dolph Ziggler just chilling on top of that ladder, and Sheamus just pushes that ladder as Ziggler goes crashing outside the ring, and that just had really set the tone right there for the night. Really great, strong opening of Raw for last Monday night. Great stuff right there. Hey, we aren't even done yet. I mean, the boom, boom, boom just continued to pick up as we saw the WWE chairman, Mr. Vincent Kennedy McMahon, make his appearance. That's right. For those of you that's keeping track at home, what is this now? The fifth consecutive week in a row here that Vince McMahon has been popping up on WWE Raw? Hey, I'm not complaining. I always love it when Granddaddy Vince makes an appearance. Love the guy, heel, face, don't matter. Always love McMahon. McMahonism, probably some of the best stuff I've seen in recent years. McMahon coming out once again. He's punking Vicky Guerrero, just sarcastically bringing her out, saying how much of a good job she's been doing with Raw within recent weeks, talking about the great main event match that she had set up between Ziggler, John Cena at TLC, but also giving Vicky Guerrero credit for the main event that was to come on Raw, which had showed John Cena taking on Big Show. Great match right there. We'll cover that in just a second. But we see Vince McMahon. He says, you know, Vicky, you know what I like better than one main event? How about two main events? And we see Vicky Guerrero. She sits up and says, yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking, boss. Yeah, and so Vince is like, okay, well, what do you got for me? What's the second main event? And Vicky Guerrero, she can't really think of anything. She's having a hard time figuring out what the second match of the night is going to be, that main event match. And we see Mr. McMahon once again, just like he did last week, he's whispering in her ear what to say. This is basically what McMahon wants to see. And Vicky Guerrero, she ends up saying, well, how about, I don't know, Sheamus in action? And Vince is like, yes, I like that. Who is Sheamus taking on? Vicky can't really think of anybody, and Vince goes, okay, well, how about Sheamus versus Dolph Ziggler? I like that. And Vicky Guerrero, no, you can't do that. And, of course, you can't tell the WWE chairman what he can and can't do with his company, as we see Vince kind of give her a double take look there. And we see Vicky, she says, oh, yeah, that's a good idea, boss. Yes, exactly. That's exactly what I was thinking. Yes, it's going to be Sheamus versus Dolph Ziggler. Hey, Vince McMahon is pleased, but not just yet, as once again we see Vince McMahon push Vicky's buttons and say, okay, well, you know what? That's two great main event matches. But do you know what's better than two main events? Three main events. I know you got a third one in you. Come on, Vicky, what do you got? And we see Vicky Guerrero, she's just really struggling. And then finally she comes up with something. She goes, hey, how about AJ in a match? And Vince is kind of marinating on it. He says, okay, what kind of match? Who's she taking on? And Vicky Guerrero says, AJ in a handicap match. And she starts laughing about it. Vince McMahon, he goes, no, not quite what I had in mind. How about AJ Lee versus Vicky Guerrero? That's going to be the third main event. And we just see Vicky Guerrero just stand there in shock as WWE chairman once again has been taking control of Vicky Guerrero's supervising, managing title, or whatever it is that she's being dubbed. I just call that Raw GM 2.0, whatever the heck you want to call it. But once again, we see Mr. McMahon punking the hell out of Vicky Guerrero. I love this. You know, this is a great setup. A taste of things to come, because I think at this rate, if this continues the way it's going to continue, we're going to see Vicky Guerrero get removed just for incompetence alone. I mean, Vince McMahon's got so much ammo right now, it's ridiculous. But going forward, those were the three main event matches that we had to look forward to tonight. One of the matches that we had saw early on, we saw R-Truth take on Wade Barrett. Great contest right here, as we saw the United States champion Antonio Cesaro, and we saw the Intercontinental champion Kofi Kingston, respectively, at ringside, sharing their thoughts on the opponents that they're going to be taking on at the TLC pay-per-view. Great contest between R-Truth, Wade Barrett, R-Truth picking up the victory over Barrett. And then post-match, we actually ended up seeing Kofi Kingston come in, and he got a lick of his own on Wade Barrett. And just for those brief few seconds there, we saw R-Truth, Kofi Kingston back together again, shades of that great tag team that they had going on earlier this year. I almost half forgot that these two guys were in a tag team for a good chunk of this year. Really nice little moment right there as the tone was set for their respective matches. And also, let's talk about the Elimination Tag match. Great highlight of the night, one of several highlights of the night, but the Elimination Tag match was really up there, really showcased the hell out of the tag division that has just been growing so strong this year. We saw the team of Rhodes Scholars, and of course, it's not Rhodes Scholars unless you have Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes came back after suffering from those injuries that he had got on Main Event a couple of weeks back, sidelined him for a minute there, and we see Cody Rhodes, he's back, he's pushing a new mustache. The mustache, it just looked so ridiculous. He looked like, and I agree completely with what some of you guys were saying. I was thinking about it myself, and I'm kind of old school over here. That mustache that Cody Rhodes was pushing, my God, that mustache looked like he used to be a singer and the Village people, he looked like he was the construction worker. I mean, that mustache was just really ridiculous. It's going to take me a while to get used to this mustache, I must admit. I hope he's not done growing it because, man, it's really going to take me a while to get used to it. But anyway, just to let you know how much of an impact this mustache had, the New Jersey crowd, really great, strong wrestling crowd, too. They were sitting up, and they actually started a chant. They chanted Cody's mustache. And it was the most funniest stuff I saw of the night that just had me go, yes, it's these kind of moments that you like from a wrestling crowd, just able to pick up on this, loving it. Now, of course, there was an early pick that was floating around right before Rhodes made his return to Raw that night. There was a pic of him that was floating around on the internet where he was in some type of a dog store, it looked like, and he had his dog with him, and he was sitting in a chair, and he had a T-shirt on, and he was sporting the mustache, and you're kind of like, who is that? Hey, it's Cody Rhodes. But it really didn't have that much of an impact as it did on that New Jersey crowd, especially since they had the Titantron as well, and they're looking at the match on there. Really interesting mustache he has right there. That's all I got to say about that. But Team Rhodes Scholars, they're back in action. They had took on the team of the Usos, primetime players, Darren Young, Titus O'Neil, Epico, and Primo. Oh, really great tag team match right here now. We saw the team of Rhodes Scholars pick up the victory, and there was a lot at stake in this tag match, folks, as whoever won this elimination tag match, they become, well, not necessarily the number one contenders, but they advance to a semifinals match to take on Rey Mysterio and Sin Cara for the number one contender spot for the tag titles. That's right. Whoever wins at Sunday's pay-per-view will become the new number one contenders to face Kane and Daniel Bryan for their tag titles. So really great right here of what we're seeing. It looks like Team Rhodes Scholars, now that Cody Rhodes is back, looks like Rhodes Scholars is picking up right where they left off. However, I'm not done talking about Rhodes Scholars just yet, as later on in the night, we had saw them be special guests on Miz TV, and Miz just really cut some very, very great promos on these guys. I mean, he was saying some really solid stuff that just had me go, Miz, that is so right on. And what was so funny about this was everything that was being directed towards Cody Rhodes. Now, Miz would bring up the fact that no matter what Cody Rhodes tried to do, whether he is dashing or he wears a mask or he has henchmen put paper bags over random people's heads, no matter what he does, he's always going to be in the shadows of great men, such as his father, heck, such as Damien Sandow. And Miz went a step further and said that Damien Sandow has been going around telling the boys in the back that he feels as if he is the Shawn Michaels to Cody Rhodes, Marty Jannetty. That just really kind of had you go, ooh, no, they didn't just go there. And Cody Rhodes just kind of shaking it off and letting Miz know, hey, you're talking all big, and you won the WWE title like about, 2 years ago, and you're still probably, at home looking up your great moment on YouTube over and over again. You're still living in the past, basically, is what Cody Rhodes had to say. Very short and brief interview that we saw right here, as Cody Rhodes really didn't want to have any more to do with Miz TV. Damien Sandow, he said a little bit as well, but, the main focal point was the exchange between Miz, Cody Rhodes, and, of course, Cody Rhodes, you just kind of felt bad for Cody Rhodes because everything that the Miz was saying, when you think about it, it's actually kind of true. I mean, we've seen Cody Rhodes repackaged maybe not as many times as Drew McIntyre, but we have seen him repackaged quite a few times, and, it's one of those type of things where, we really don't talk about Cody Rhodes that much, and I don't know if that's really a bad thing or if it's actually a good thing, but, in retrospect, when you really think about it, personally, and it's funny because when I saw this segment happen, being a long-time good friend of mine, we were talking about Cody Rhodes for about 20 minutes, and I was telling him, I said, you know what, man, it seems like the best run that Cody Rhodes ever had in his career so far was back when he was pushing the whole mask gimmick and he thought he was hideous and he had people putting paper bags. I thought that was really, really solid stuff that he was doing, and I just thought that it had a lot more potential. And it's unfortunate that it got cut so short because I thought that was really going to be going somewhere, but it just seemed like it just got totally cut right when it was getting really good. I also like the dashing Cody Rhodes gimmick. I know some people, they kind of look at that and they kind of frown upon that a little bit, but I actually am one of those people that actually appreciated the dashing Cody Rhodes. I love seeing those video montages of him talking about how you need to treat your skin and how you need to do this with getting a proper tan and giving the manicure tips, and I was liking all that, and he's coming out and just looking at himself in the mirror. I thought that gimmick was pretty solid as well, but I lean more towards the gimmick he had with the mask. I thought that was some solid work, but it just seems like he's been trying to find his little niche past couple of years, and yeah, when you kind of think about it, it does seem as if he's not really sure what he wants to do with himself. I mean, he's got the greatest potential in the world. I mean, he brings out some really great solid matches. He's got one wicked-ass finisher, the Crossroads. And honestly, his finisher, I'll go on record, his finisher, Crossroads, it's so damn impressive. Quite honestly, that's actually something Ryback needs to try to adopt in his repertoire because as much as I like seeing Shell Shock, it just looks so funky. I mean, it's up there with the Ultimate Warrior Powerbomb, but don't have me go off on a rant on that. I don't want to get sidetracked. But really great, solid stuff right here between The Miz and Cody Rhodes, Damien Sandow. Miz even going on record and saying, hey, Cody Rhodes, while you were banged up with your injuries, where was Damien Sandow? He wasn't visiting you in the hospital, was he? What was going on with that? Did he even send you get well wishes? And Miz went out there and said, hey, Miz, he said, Sandow has also been going around telling the guys in the back how he feels he's been carrying you all this time. So you got those seeds that's planted in there that Rhodes and Sandow, they could break up. And quite honestly, I like those ingredients that's been planted because let's not forget here, right before Rhodes came back, Sandow was going on a little streak there of trying to find an apprentice, and I'm not really sure where exactly that is right now. I don't know if that's being put on hold since Cody Rhodes is back or if they're still going to pursue that. I mean, the way they were setting this up, you're led to the impression that eventually Sandow was going to be taking in an apprentice. He was going to be taking in somebody that shockingly was going to get all three of his questions right. And, I'm thinking to myself, well, maybe it could be a up-and-coming guy, maybe somebody from NXT, who knows, but that's the way it was looking right now. So I'm very curious to see how things are going to be playing out now that Cody Rhodes is back and if they're going to be pursuing Damien Sandow, looking for an apprentice any further. Also, next up we saw on Raw for the night, we saw Eve take on Alicia Fox. And, I mean, the same night that we get AJ Lee taking on Vicky Guerrero, we get Eve, the Divas champion, in action. We haven't seen Eve in a good minute. Now, we heard that she had came down with a little minor injury at one of the WWE house shows a couple of weeks back, so she was kicking back, resting up. Great to see her back. She looked like she hasn't missed a step. And she actually picked up the victory over Alicia Fox. Now, it should be pointed out with regards to this match. The same time we get Eve, Alicia Fox, AJ versus Vicky Guerrero. We also had got to see two really great cameos from WWE Divas. We saw AJ Lee in a backstage segment. She's so pumped up, so excited for her match, and we see her share that excitement with Asuka, and then she bumps into Caitlyn for about 10, 15 seconds, excited about it, and letting her know she wants to share the news with John Cena, and she wonders where John Cena is. Caitlyn tells her to find John Cena probably in the men's locker room, and she does find him in there, and Cena's kind of like, whoa, 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 whoa. I appreciate the news you're trying to tell me, but, this is the men's locker room. Let's go talk somewhere a little bit more convenient. But, I just thought that was a nice little subtle touch that WWE did right there because, remember, it was just a couple of weeks ago that Caitlyn had ended up in trouble there over some unpaid parking tickets down in Michigan where they were taping SmackDown, and the police had came on WWE property, and they arrested her right there. Now, she did get out on a $315 bond, and she said she was going to be working with the police to squash the matter quickly. And remember what we said a couple of weeks ago? Say, hey, don't be too surprised. She's probably going to be off TV for a little bit. And here we are now. What's it been, guys? Like about 2 weeks later or something like that? Almost 3 weeks later, and now we see that Caitlyn is just back. Notice, though, the way that they brought her back, it was kind of like if you blinked, because she wasn't on the screen that long. So if you blinked, you missed it. Nice little subtle touch that they did right there. I'm very curious to see what is going to happen going into the next pay-per-view. Now, I know we probably got that hardcore audience of WWE fans that don't really care about the Divas division, but, you should kind of be paying attention to this because this has a very interesting development right here. Does WWE continue to go with Caitlyn, who really came off doing a very immature, irresponsible move, not paying her tickets and getting arrested on basically WWE property? So is WWE going to still try to work with her, as it did look as if they were really building her up to have one solid program with Eve that could have culminated in her becoming the Divas champion? Or do they go in a different direction? One thing is for certain, with that match that Eve had against Alicia Fox this past Monday night, which was really pretty much a squash match, decent match, but it was pretty much a squash match. It's not going to be Alicia Fox that Eve is going to be working at a next pay-per-view. Speaking of Alicia Fox, all I got to say about Homegirl, she looked like a black version of Sailor Moon. I have not seen that cartoon in years, but I remember I used to kick back with my cousin and pretend sister, and we used to watch that stuff. And Alicia Fox, she just looked like a rejected Sailor Moon. You don't know what Sailor Moon is. Google it, your best friend. All right, so let's talk about that AJ Lee, Vicky Guerrero match, just to get all the diva stuff out the way. Very solid match. Not, I'm kidding with you guys. It wasn't a solid match. It really wasn't even a match. This was pretty much about stretching out a storyline. So we see AJ Lee, she comes out, Vicky Guerrero comes out, and, this is the storyline here. Vicky Guerrero, where's the referee? We need a referee. Can we get a damn referee? There's no referee. Well, all of a sudden, be careful what you ask for, you just might get it. We get a referee, and it's none other than the John Morrison experience. No, I'm kidding with you guys. I wish. No, it's the Brad Maddox experience. That's right. Brad Maddox shockingly makes his return to WWE programming dressed in a referee attire. And he comes on now, Vicky Guerrero. She's looking at AJ. AJ's kind of like, okay, you're trying to screw me out of a win. And Vicky's trying to tell her, I don't know nothing about this. I have nothing to do with this. Don't talk to me. Hey, it is what it is. Brad Maddox comes in, and AJ kind of has a few words with him, and Brad Maddox is like, hey, I'm the referee. You can't touch me. Come on, let's do the match. He rings the bell. Vicky Guerrero, she attacks AJ from behind, and for a little bit, she's actually dominating, not really doing too much on the offense. There's nothing really impressive that you can sit up and say, oh, Vicky, great clothesline. Oh, Vicky, great jump kick. You can't really say any of that. It was just pretty much, okay, cheap shots, a lot of showboating. basically AJ gets pissed off, and she's like, like a little ferret, and she just starts attacking Vicky Guerrero, and they're rolling around the ring. Now, we do see AJ go for a pin. Maddox doesn't count. AJ is shocked. She's like, what the hell? Having a few words with Maddox. Vicky Guerrero comes from behind, does a cheap roll-up. Maddox counts extremely fast. 1, 2, 3. Match is over. Vicky Guerrero wins. So you're kind of left with that impression there, which sets up a really great episode of Raw, since Brad Maddox helped Vicky Guerrero. Does this, in fact, mean that Vicky Guerrero is going to have to return the favor and award him a WWE contract? Hey, survey says, ding, 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 yes, why not? He helped her out when she needed it the most. I don't see why something like this would happen, not unless Mr. McMahon injects himself into the mix. Just a little FYI, so be on the alert for that. Otherwise, whether some people like it or not, in the New Jersey crowd, they let Maddox have it. They told that kid, you can't wrestle. And keep in mind, he was just refereeing a match, and they were letting him have it. But then again, when I hear that, I wonder who that was really directed towards. Was that really directed towards Brad Maddox, or was that directed towards Vicky Guerrero? Or, hey, was it directed towards both of them? I'm leaning more towards Brad Maddox, but either way, we did have two people in there that couldn't really wrestle worth a damn. But, hey, it is what it is. But AJ Lee, we got to talk about the little funny moment that she had post-match. She's screaming her little butt off, and she's just throwing chairs everywhere, and she's just screaming at the top of her lungs. I love a screamer. That's all I got to say about that. But we see AJ just out of nowhere slaps the living hell out of ring announcer Justin Roberts. And I hope Justin Roberts was in on that slap, because if he wasn't, man, I really feel bad for him. But, you could just hear that pop. That slap was just, and he sold that. He held his face like, damn, what the hell I do? Nice little touch right there. All right, your second hour of WWE Raw had featured the WWE Champion CM Punk and Paul Heyman, and this was one of my other favorite highlights of the night. Now, folks, we were sitting up, and what did we tell you guys last week? We said, you know what, don't really take what happened with CM Punk's injury to the extreme until we hear more information. And it was so funny because we were hearing the buzz just from the community and everybody trying to give their own little take. We even saw people do like 10, 15-minute videos talking about how CM Punk's injured and just the big bad domino effect it could possibly have on the WWE. Really just stretching it out there. But we went on record last week and we said, you know what, until more information comes to light, just really take this for what it's worth. But the way it's looking right now, the fact that WWE is saying that Punk won't be able to compete at TLC, take that for what it's worth. This actually could look to be something that's really legit. And, one question that was being put out there was, well, why would WWE try to sit up and make a fake storyline? This has to be true. And, I just want to clear up any confusion that any of you all might have experienced last week. I never said that WWE was creating something that was fake. Let's be for real here. You have a WWE champion that is scheduled to make a pay-per-view appearance, okay? When you have the card, early on for a lot of these pay-per-views, house show events, you already know the bill, but there is that little stipulation that's added in there that the card is subject to change. Always the point, okay? But a lot of people, they have been knowing for a good while now, okay, CM Punk, we're going to get to see him in this main event match. And so, you have a lot of responsibilities to those ticket purchasers, the folks that order it on pay-per-view, the stockholders, shareholders, all that. So, to see a wrestler
actually get pulled from a pay-per-view because he has an injury. You know, you have to assume that, okay, this is legit. The one thing that I did go on record and say, you know what, I'm a little iffy about these areas right here that I have concern with. The areas which were the fact that he didn't put any pictures out on his Twitter, Facebook, WWE for that matter. They didn't put up any pictures of him arriving to go see Dr. Andrews. They didn't show any type of before, after pictures of him, you know, with his leg. There was nothing like that. So you're just going off of a word, and then you're going off of how CM Punk looked when he appeared on Raw last night, as he was on two crutches with clear bandage on his left knee, and there was a lot of white circular spot bandages all around his knee, saying that he had needed to go get emergency corrective surgery on the knee. Basically, they were scoping out some stuff from the knee. Really simple procedure, and he's going to be good to go. He's going to be ready for The Rock in time. And you know what? CM Punk, Paul Heyman, WWE, I got to give them all the credit in the world right here, because they pretty much say, you know what, TLC is in the books. It's now time to focus on The Rock. And that was exactly the move that was made last night. And I love this. I mean, it was the shot heard all around social media as CM Punk really, and Paul Heyman, I got to give both of these guys really, really top props, especially Paul Heyman, took great shots at The Rock, saying, you know what, CM Punk has been in the ring, in and out all these years. He's been a WWE champion for 388 days, consecutive days at that, doing what he does best. Hey, this is going to come with the territory. And you know what? At least CM Punk is a man about it. He's able to come out and still try to entertain the crowd. Meanwhile, you got guys like The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, who's kicking back. He's got his finger stirring in his little cup of mocha latte, and he's waiting for the director to say, okay, Rock, so in this scene, you're going to get grabbed, you're going to get put over somebody's head, we'll cut it right there, stunt devil. And Paul Heyman just basically saying, you know, CM Punk, he doesn't need any stunt devils. CM Punk is his own man. He takes all the bumps, everything that's coming to him. Heyman also takes a shot at The Rock for not having anything to do with WWE, also not having anything to do with the Raw brand, yet, however, Rock can have a title match anytime he wants, which basically is not fair. And I love that subtle touch that they did right there. Once again, WWE playing off of that core internet wrestling community that feels that Rock is not deserving of a championship. How can he just walk into the WWE 2-3 times out of a whole calendar year and, boom, have a title match? A lot of people have been very passionate about that. I love that subtle touch that they did with that. Paul Heyman, great work right there. Even taking a shot at New Jersey's hockey team, the New Jersey Devils, saying how they never won a championship. It's been years since they last won a title. Great stuff right here. CM Punk, though, letting Dwayne Johnson know, hey, look, you're going to end up being just like the other guys I've beaten this whole calendar year for my WWE title. You're going to meet the same fate as them. It's not going to change. Nothing's going to be different. Great, solid promo that we saw from these two guys. Got to give it up to them. 5-star quality type of stuff right here. Surprisingly, we haven't heard anything yet from The Rock. We've been paying attention to his Twitter feeds. To our knowledge, at least as far as it is right now at this time, right on up until we went on the air, we didn't hear anything from The Rock's Twitter feed saying how he heard about CM Punk's promo or whatever. So I'm sure before the week is out, we'll probably hear a little something from The Rock. But in the meantime, shots fired. Now it's time for The Rock to set something up. He's got to respond now. He's got to respond in a big way, too. All right. Oh, one other note, though, guys. CM Punk is actually going to be making an appearance at the TLC pay-per-view despite not being in the main event match, as he pointed out that he has no affiliation with The Shield, but he wants to see them destroy Team Hell No and Ryback. So, very interesting development right there. And, of course, for those of you that might have missed it, that main event is now going to be the team of Dean Ambrose, Seth Rollins, Romain Reigns of The Shield taking on Team Hell No's Kane, Daniel Bryan, Ryback in the table, ladders, and chairs match. That's your main event match that is replacing CM Punk versus Ryback for the WWE title in a ladders, tables, chairs match. Moving right along now, we saw another great highlight of the night. We saw Sheamus take on Dolph Ziggler. Great match right here, 5-star quality type of match. Ziggler really, this was the second time in just a couple of weeks that we saw Ziggler, Sheamus going at it again. Love this contest. Really solid stuff right here. Now, unfortunately, this match ended in a way that I thought it should end because both of these guys needed to look strong going into the pay-per-view. This match would actually end in a DQ, and the way this DQ had ended up happening, we saw Ziggler go outside the ring. Sheamus tried to give chase. Ziggler goes for a steel chair, hits Sheamus with it. Referee has no choice but to call for the bell. So I guess you could say technically Sheamus defeated Ziggler via DQ. Still, good, strong setup right there. Now, we see Sheamus, he goes back in the ring. Ziggler, he goes in, tries to follow him, hits him in the back with the steel chair again. We see Sheamus go running into the corner, and Ziggler, he's setting up the steel chair, trying to hit him one more time, but Sheamus gets back on the offense, attacks him with a bro kick that just sends that steel chair flying out of his hand. And Ziggler, realizing he doesn't have that chair anymore, he quickly rolls out, and the two guys are just glaring each other down. Could this possibly be a taste of things to come? Who knows, but really great match right there. Great finish to it as well. Alberto Del Rio had defeated Zack Ryder. Surprisingly, that was not a squash match. That was actually a 10, maybe almost 14-minute match that we had got from these two guys. Del Rio picking up the victory. I don't know what's been happening with Del Rio. It seems like he has those consecutive weeks where he's losing to somebody, but then he has those weeks where he's just always picking up a win on Zack Ryder or Sin Cara just to kind of look a little relevant. It's very funny what is happening with Alberto Del Rio. It seemed like at one point he was destined to become a WWE champion or World Heavyweight champion again. And remember those reports that had came out earlier this year, how WWE, Vince McMahon in particular, they wanted a more aggressive Alberto Del Rio when he came back from his last injury, as he wanted just to see that more aggressive, nasty side to him, as he really likes Del Rio, and he basically wants him to be champion again. But, we really haven't seen that much from Del Rio. Great character. I know co-producer Tammy, she's gone on record many times. Great character. Put that belt on him. He can't do anything with it. But I just find it very interesting. He has these weeks where he's losing matches, and then he's always picking up these wins over mediocre, I hate to say mediocre wrestlers, but people that's just really low mid-card wrestlers, I'll say. It really makes no sense to me, but it is what it is. Del Rio defeats Zack Ryder. We also got another highlight of the night, Antonio Cesaro taking on Kofi Kingston. Really, really great performance right here. The spotlight was more on Cesaro than Kofi Kingston. I mean, what can you say about Antonio Cesaro? I mean, my God, this guy he has one impressive offense. I mean, he is one of those old school type of wrestlers. I mean, he kind of has a nice little throwback 80s vibe to a nice little style of wrestling. He's got a little bit of that Prince Von Erich. He's got a little bit of Terry Funk. He's got a little bit of Wade Barrett in him. He's got a little bit of William Regal. He's got that nice little nasty, gritty brawl type of style to him. I really love his offense. And, Cesaro picking up victory over Kingston, looking very strong going into his respective TLC match. Your main event of the night, we saw John Cena take on Big Show. Surprisingly, this was another good match. I don't know what's been happening with the Big Show as of late. I don't know if he's been digging down deep or what, but Big Show has really, once again, can't stress it enough, been really pulling out some really great singles matches within the past couple of months. Been really good stuff right here. Now, this match, as much as it was fun watching, this match would actually end in a DQ as John Cena had picked up the win. Now, let's break it down and let's tell you guys what ended up happening right here. We pretty much had saw the Shield come out, and they all just ganged up on John Cena. So you're wondering to yourself, what is the injustice that John Cena has caused to warrant an attack from this gang of guys or this shield of injustice? Well, all hell just continues to break out as soon after we see Team Hell Knows Kane, Daniel Bryan, they come on out, and they want them a piece of the shield as well. So now we got all these guys just going at it. Next up, we see Sheamus. Sheamus comes on out. He wants him some too. So we see all these guys just get it in on, and you just hear the crowd. Real explosive reaction that we get from the crowd as they are chanting Ryback. And, hey, give the people what they want, because that's exactly what that New Jersey crowd had got. See Ryback, he comes out to a large pop. I mean, it was ridiculous. I haven't heard a large pop like that for a wrestler of Ryback's stature, not really since Dave Bautista. I mean, it was really up there like that. And we see Ryback, he just takes a ladder and he just throws it over the ropes and is able to hit all three members of the Shield. He goes in there and he starts hitting them one by one, and just all carnage just breaking out in the middle of that ring, as that pretty much was the end of Raw for that night. And, you know, I love the way this was executed. You know, for a 3-hour show, I was very pleased with the execution. I was very pleased with the production. It was really great. It was one of those type of episodes that just had me go, you know what, if they can keep it just the way that they are doing it, you know, keep that momentum going, keep that creativity going. And it's so funny because we learned hours later that Raw had received several rewrites, once again, even leading right on up until the actual episode aired. As remember, one of the segments we were supposed to see was the three-man band give some type of a state of the WWE address, and it was cut. And it should be noted, this is the second week in a row now where the three-man band are supposed to be cutting some type of a segment on Raw, but it's gotten cut. Personally, I think that's, you know, I know some people, they like the three-man band. I'm not really feeling it. I liked it more when it was about Heath Slater. And I don't want to go into all that again because I would just be rehashing stuff. But honestly, I'm not tripping over three-man band. Whatever you got to do to make the show really strong and really make each segment be worth checking out, I'm all for it. But once again, we got to talk about the WWE Raw ratings that had came in for this past Monday night. Now, with Vince McMahon's help, the several revisions that Raw had received, Raw actually did a pretty good job this past Monday night as compared to what had went down last Monday night where it had got crushed by that Monday Night Football game. Woo, daddy, with, what was that, the Redskins taking on the New York Giants, as Monday Night Football had picked up, what was that, 16.30-something million viewers. I mean, they just really squashed the hell out of that. But we got the latest WWE Raw ratings for this week, and it goes as follows, as WWE Raw ratings picked up a 2.67 rating, so that's pretty good, with 3.764 million viewers, just up from last week's episode that had scored a 2.55 rating with 3.44 million viewers. But it should be pointed out, once again, there's that little problem there for that third hour. The second hour, going into the third hour, something about that third hour, they just can't keep the viewership up. As for the 17th consecutive week in a row, viewership for the third hour went down again. So despite having a good number there for the ratings, still that third hour is a big problem for them. But, overall, very well-executed episode of Raw. Scale of 1 to 10, I would actually have to give that I'd have to give that an 8 out of 10. I thought it was a pretty solid episode, really great build-up for the TLC pay-per-view. And I just love all the stuff that they were just plugging on that episode. I mean, you forget that WWE has so much that they're doing in the next couple of weeks. We got the TLC pay-per-view. Then, of course, we got the Rolling Stones pay-per-view that's going to be coming up on Saturday. And then next Monday night, they're going to be doing the Slammies. And we got a special programming note that we need to let you guys know about, as we got a thing or two that's going to be happening next week. We'll let you know when we come back from commercial break. But some really solid stuff right here that we got from Raw this past Monday night. All right, so what we're going to do, we're going to take a very brief commercial break. We come on back. I'll let you know those programming notes for next week. Make sure you want to jot those down. You'll like it. And then we'll also talk about the very latest in wrestling-related news. Not really too many headlines has been jumping out there, but I do want to go in-depth on a piece. Over the weekend, we had heard of Mason Andrews, a.k.a. Harold, from the Kane, Daniel Bryan anger management classes. He sat up, and his real independent wrestling name that he's really known by is Scorpio Sky. He got into some serious trouble over some anti-gay slur tweets that he was putting out there, and it rubbed one guy off the wrong way, and he actually got in contact with a few promotions that Scorpio Sky worked with, and he got him into some hot water. So I'm going to chime in my thoughts on that. In case you might have missed that news, we'll break it down to you, and we'll let you know a little bit more about it, and I'll give you my overall takeaway on that. And, of course, we'll open up the phone lines, as always, get you all's reactions to it, and very latest, and what all, got you talking for this week. So we'll take that brief commercial break. We'll come on back, and we'll jump all into it. You're listening to the RCWR Show on December 11, 2012. 11:52 right now, just 8 minutes before the midnight hour on the East Coast. We'll be coming right back, folks. You hang tight.
Tired of those wrestling websites that give you redirects, spyware, weird pop-ups? How about those misleading headlines? Instead of hitting the keyboard in frustration, why not visit InfinityOneProductions.com? Infinity One is the source for wrestling-related news and so much more without all the hassle. Visit InfinityOneProductions.com. Your keyboard will thank you.
Hey guys, Lee Sanders here with the RCWR Show, and I'd like to take this time out to tell you about one or two quick apps that I think you should check out when you get a free moment. First app I'd like to recommend to you is the app from Stitcher. Now, Stitcher allows you to be able to play all our episodes of the RCWR Show and Impact Showdown on your portable devices, such as an Android phone, Kindle Fire, iPad, you name it, it'll be able to play it. So definitely highly recommend that you check that out. It's available for free in the App Store. Stitcher, new and smart way to play radio. Also, another cool app that I'd like to recommend to you all is a new app that came out not too long ago from Apple. That's right, Apple has recently come out with a free podcast app. Now, this app is really cool, folks, because after we are done doing our shows, all you have to do is just subscribe to our episodes. And you can do this by downloading this new free podcast app. All you have to do, visit the App Store on your iPhone or iPad and just search podcast. Once the app is downloaded, you can then type in the name of our shows, the RCWR Show and Impact Showdown, and you'll be able to subscribe. It's that easy. So you have two cool free apps that you can check out and take all our episodes with you on the go. So get to it already.
Live from the nation's capital in Washington, D.C., This is the RCWR Show with your host, Lee Sanders.
Black Avenger, Lee Sanders, back with you all. You're listening to the RCWR Show. All right, so quick programming notes for you guys. So next week is going to be very, very busy for us. We're going to be squeezing some pretty solid episodes. It all begins Monday. We're going to be coming on special Monday night appearance immediately after Raw. You'll be able to catch us as we're going to be talking about the fallout as, of course, it's the annual Slammy Award special for Raw. Should be a pretty solid episode. We'll be coming on right after that, get you all's reactions to it. And, hey, so make sure you join us. It's not every day that we make a Monday night appearance. We love it when we do Monday nights as, you know, we talk to quite a few bit more of you, so we always appreciate that. So make sure you join us next Monday night. Now, for those of you that's wondering, well, what's going to happen with the RCWR Show on Tuesday nights? Are you going to do an episode next Tuesday? And the answer to that is yes, we will do an episode of the RCWR Show on Tuesday night. So you're going to get a bonus episode. And with that episode, we're just going to cover the events from SmackDown as WWE will be airing a special Super SmackDown Live special. So that's going to be on Tuesday. So we'll come immediately on after SmackDown. Now, for those of you on the East Coast, what that means is next Tuesday night, not 11 o'clock p.m. will be coming on. Instead, we'll be coming on at 10 p.m. Again, we'll be coming on immediately after SmackDown. So for those of you on the East Coast, make sure you put in that little note. We don't want you guys to miss half the show or the show's almost over. Next Tuesday night, 10 p.m. So once again, Monday night, we'll be on at 11 p.m. right after Raw. Tuesday night, 10 p.m. we'll be coming on right after SmackDown, so make sure you join us. That's going to be some really solid stuff. And also, hey, we got the TLC pay-per-view that's going to be going down this weekend. And in case you don't know the card just yet for Sunday's pay-per-view, let me hook you guys up with that right now. This is the very latest that we have on that card, and it goes as follows. For the TLC YouTube pre-show, it's going to be a battle royal to determine the number one contender for the WWE Divas Championship. Now, it should be noted here that we're going to see the following Divas: AJ Lee, Caitlyn, Layla, Alicia Fox, Natalya, Tamina Snuka, Asuka, Rosa Mendez. We're going to see all these beautiful women get it on to determine the number one contender for the WWE Divas Championship. That should be a pretty solid contest right there. I really hope that they put a lot more time into it for a YouTube special. I hope we can get at least 15 minutes out of that Battle Royal. It would be nice. Also, we got Big Show versus Sheamus chairs match for the World Heavyweight Championship. Is the third time going to be the charm for Sheamus? Is he going to get back that World Heavyweight title? Should be interesting to find out. Kofi Kingston is going to be taking on Wade Barrett for the Intercontinental Championship. Dolph Ziggler, Mr. Show-Off, is going to be taking on the C-Nation leader, John Cena. Ladder match for the World Heavyweight Championship Money in the Bank contract. Team Hell Knows, Kane and Daniel Bryan will be teaming up with Ryback to take on the Shield, Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose, Romain Reigns, in a tables, ladders, chairs match. When will be decided by pinfall or submission, folks. Antonio Cesaro will be taking on R-Truth. That will be for the United States Championship. And Team Rhodes Scholars, Cody Rhodes, Damian Sandow, they'll be taking on Sin Cara and Rey Mysterio in a tables match to determine the number one contender for the WWE Tag Team Championships. And, of course,
we're going to be doing a very special episode of the RCWR Show this Saturday afternoon at 2 p.m. Eastern. It's another match prediction special. I'm going to be putting on my thinking cap one more time for this calendar year to cover the winners that I feel should walk away from the TLC pay-per-view, so make sure you check that out. Got a lot of great praise for the last Call That Match special that we did. Hey, you guys are welcome. Really glad that you appreciate it. We're going to keep that momentum going. We're going to do it one more time, and it's going to be some pretty solid stuff, so make sure that you check that out. Of course, all this build-up that we're doing covering the TLC, it's all going to lead into the RCWR post show at 11 p.m. on Sunday. We'll be covering the whole fallout from the event, get live fan reaction. So if you're going to be ordering that pay-per-view, hey, especially you first-time listeners, I know we picked up a few new subscribers. We have picked up a few new listeners that like the show. Hey, if you're going to be checking out that TLC pay-per-view, make sure you call in to the post-show Sunday and let us know what you thought about that pay-per-view, as we love hearing from you guys. And that's going to do it. All right, so let's talk about wrestling-related news here. Like I was teasing you guys earlier, you know, we had got this very eerie series of tweets that we had saw from Scorpio Sky. And, you know, again, you guys, if you've been paying attention to your TNA wrestling, you guys might actually know him under the name Mason Andrews. And basically, he's been throwing out a lot of anti-gay slurs, and it's so ridiculous because he knows he's wrong, but he just keeps doing it. I don't know if he's stupid or if he's ignorant. To be ignorant would basically be, you're just dumb. Stupid, you're being silly. So I don't really know if he's being silly or if he's really just being a dick. I really don't know. But in either case, here's basically what had happened. WWE, they are now distancing themselves from Scorpio Sky. And also, we see Lucha Vavroom. They are a promotion that has done work with him from time to time as well. And they've come under light about his tweets that he's been saying about gay folks. And basically, let's set this up right. Now, it should be noted that Scorpio Sky, he's been a wrestling veteran now for about 10 years. And, the problem that he keeps having, and it happened earlier this summer, but, it's one of those nasty trends where, okay, just when you thought the guy learned his lesson, he comes on back. Now, keep in mind, he was throwing a series of anti-gay slurs earlier this summer. And the main thing that he loved to say was, Mark Cuban, hey, I don't have any problem with gays, homosexuals, transgenders. I have no problem with you guys whatsoever. Y'all don't do me no harm. Hey, I don't do you no harm. It's cool, And I'm saying that because it's now 12:03 a.m., and I'm just going to start just letting loose. I'm going to start saying some words, and that's normally not part of my repertoire. So I don't want you guys, that might happen to be homosexuals, don't take it personal. I'm just reading exactly the tweets that this guy said. This is not a reflection from me. It's not a reflection of the RCWR Show or Infinity One Productions. Everything that I'm getting ready to say is from Scorpio Sky. I repeat, everything I'm getting ready to say is from Scorpio Sky. Now, keep in mind that a wrestling fan engaged Scorpio Sky in one intense argument here, and this is pretty much what had happened. I'm going to read the tweets as follows. Scorpio Sky, yeah, that's why I've been coughing for like 3 weeks, sick and all, this shit for faggots. Scorpio Sky, if I have gay followers and faggots offend you, my bad, laugh out loud, is just too good an insult. I would never call a gay guy faggot, though. Now, we see the wrestling fan by the name of Mika NR. I believe his intentions are good. I'm not trying to attack him. I'm trying to educate him. It's the same thing as if I got offended that you would think the N-word is offensive. Of course it's offensive. So much hate. That was the response from Scorpio Sky. Mika at Scorpio Sky. It's also offensive that when you think you know everyone who is gay and who wouldn't say the F word to them. Scorpio Sky at Mika NR. First off, aside from having fun on Twitter, I don't call people I don't know faggot. Second, your arguments are loaded. Now, it should be noted that this fan went on to contact several companies that employed Scorpio Sky, one of them being the independent wrestling promotion Lucha Vavoom. And this also came under WWE's radar as the WWE Fan Services part of the company. They responded by saying, quote, WWE strongly believes that everyone should be treated with respect, and this principle is the foundation of our anti-bullying initiative, Be a Star. Mr. Andrews no longer works for WWE, and we have no plans to work with him in the future. Now, Sky, who also did some work with the Lucha Vavoom promotion, the company went on record and said they are not happy with his anti-gay tweets. Now, the promotion had recently spoke with Outsports.com, and they said, quote, please rest assured that Lucha Vavoom does not condone this language, and further, it's important to us to specify that we do not employ the character Scorpio Sky. The wrestler that plays Scorpio Sky appears sometimes, but not under that moniker. And he does not have access to speak for Lucha Vavoom or any of his Lucha Vavoom characters. However, we have emailed our grievances and await his response. Should be noted just 1 month prior to him appearing for WWE there for the anger management segments with Kane, Daniel Bryan, he was competing in TNA Wrestling's X Division Championship Tournament as Mason Andrews. So that kind of gives you a little bit of idea. If you still don't know how he looks, just hop on over to our website at infinity1productions.com, and we have an image of him. You'll see it. You'll go, oh, yeah, that guy. I remember now. And you'll really get your memory jogged once you see the picture of him. You know, I hear stuff like this, and I'm thinking about what New Jack had said a little while back when Jerry the King Lawler had his heart attack, and he was saying, oh, you know, good riddance, that MFer, you know, fucker had it coming, you know, he's a racist old white man anyway, and that had just pissed off a lot of people, and a lot of folks were wishing New Jack death, just all types of harm, and New Jack basically saying, hey, he just wanted to kind of take advantage of a situation and get himself in the spotlight. He was just trying to get a little bit of attention, and he just loves how the Internet works. And, you know, you hear that, and you're like, okay, whatever. Then you hear the comments that's coming from AW, Abraham Washington. Let's not forget, once he got released from WWE for saying that controversial stuff about Kobe Bryant there, trying to play off of how he thought Titus O'Neil was looking in the ring, talking about how Titus O'Neil was so good, he's like Kobe Bryant in a hotel room with a white girl, something like that. Bear in mind, we had, SummerSlam that was supposed to be going down at the Staples Center just a short time later, so you knew that was not going to go just without any type of repercussion, you know. So you see Abraham Washington, he gets released, and he just starts saying all this crap about WWE, crapping on the McMahons, and specifically crapping on Linda McMahon. And, you know, you just hear all this stuff that a lot of these guys have been saying on Twitter, and it's just one of those type of deals where you sit up and you wonder to yourself, okay, are these guys using common sense? You know, what's going on here? And, I'm just looking at some of the stuff that these guys are saying, and honestly, this is my genuine analysis on this. I think a lot of these guys, they feel that since they have their own Twitter accounts, since they're the ones that created it, they're accessing it, a lot of them feel as though they can sit up and they can say whatever that they want to say. But unfortunately, here is a case right here with New Jack, with Abraham Washington. Ditto the case with Scorpio Sky. just because you have your own Twitter account or your Facebook account, hell, even your own YouTube account, the fact that anybody can stumble upon your page and look at the content that you're putting up, if you unfortunately put up something that is offensive, it has its way of making its rounds. Let's not forget, there was a really kick-ass episode of the RCWR Show we did a couple of weeks ago where we were talking about what had happened there with that 16-year-old girl that was a victim of cyberbullying. And, basically in a nutshell, somebody had said something derogatory on a memorial Facebook page that was made specifically for her in her memory. And one of the people that was following the page saw the comment, made it her business to find out who made that comment, was able to track them all the way to their employer, told the employer about what this person had posted, and was able to get this guy fired. So, it has a really devastating effect on making its way back to bite you in the ass. And I can't stress this enough. Best advice I can give to a lot of these wrestling superstars, entertainers, performers, whatever you want to call them, the best advice I can give these guys, if you're going to sit up and you want to be able to say whatever you want to say, number one, I want you to keep this in mind, especially you young wrestlers out there, you young up-and-coming wrestlers. This message is for you guys especially. If you want to sit up and say whatever you want to say and you just don't care, number one, I do hope that you are sitting on some money. I hope that you have some stuff in your account put to the side. I hope that you have it like that financially to be able to say whatever you want to say because, a lot of these wrestlers, they are making their rounds all throughout the independent wrestling circuit, eventually trying to score that sweet deal with a major wrestling promotion. Of course, they want to work for the big one of all. They want to work for WWE or they want to work for TNA or whoever's got, the best, biggest deal that's out there for them. I get that. I respect that. But, you got to do a lot of legwork to get there. You got to get your name floating around. It's kind of like, here's my card. Yeah, let your friends know about it. Wrestlers, the same thing when they're going around these wrestling circuits. And, when you sit up and you say inflammatory stuff like that, you hurt yourself severely because you put yourself in a really messed up position where if potential employers, be it in a wrestling promotion, find out that you said that type of shit, they're going to be like, okay, no, we don't need him. We don't need to have anything to do with him if he's going to be rolling like that. And then you're wondering why you're not getting that phone call to come work down at their respective power plant or whatever. Okay, so number one, think before you put the tweet out there. And then if you are going to put those tweets out there, those controversial videos, whatever the content is, if you're going to put that controversial stuff out there, hopefully financially you are set. Okay? Another piece of advice I want to give. Doesn't hurt to have stuff like Twitter, your tweets. It can be protected. You can't make your account private. You can set it up in a way where only you can select who you want to be following you, okay? Hey, you don't want somebody following you on Twitter? You don't want somebody following you on YouTube? You don't want somebody following you on Facebook? Very powerful button. It's called the block, and you never see them again, okay? That is a very powerful button, okay? And unfortunately for Scorpio Sky, this person that obviously was offended by the things that he had said, this guy himself is, at least the impression that I'm getting, and if my impression is wrong, then I apologize right here live on the air. But the impression that I'm getting from this Mika NR, I'm led to believe that he is homosexual because I took a look at his Twitter page personally, and I saw him make a lot of comments on these random pictures of white guys that had swimmer builds. I know there was a picture of one guy that got out the bed, had a raging heart on, and he had some type of comment that he put on there saying, you know, he wished he could do a thing or two with that, and, you know, he was making a couple of other comments on some other guys' picks that he thought was pretty hot. And, you know, it's so funny because, you know, it's like, wow, you know, ooh, Scorpio Sky, you know, you literally pissed off one of the wrong people because you offended somebody that's a homosexual. So, you know, if you're going to sit up and say gays and faggots and you don't think that's going to have any type of repercussions, God, you are just stupider than I think. I don't care if you've been a wrestling veteran for 10 years. What you did is wrong. What you did is stupid. And, you know, we should point out now that we try to extend an invitation to Scorpio Sky to come onto the show and express his thoughts, get his side of the story out there and everything. He didn't take us up on that offer. We even tried to ask him if he had a statement, anything that he wanted maybe for us to read to wrestling fans. He didn't take us up on that either. So, you know, it's not like we didn't try to give him the opportunity. We did reach out to Mika NR as well. When we told him straight up, we said, you know, what you did, you know, that was pretty solid. Got a lot of respect for what you did there. You know, wait for you to stand your ground. And, you know, very interesting right there. But I can't stress it enough. Be very careful what you put out there because it has a very serious way of coming back to bite you in the ass, whether you like it or not, you know, especially when you're a wrestler. You're going to be under the microscope 24/7. Welcome to the real world. That's how it is because in some sick fashion, you know, these wrestlers, they're like Hollywood stars themselves, and they got a huge following. Anything that they say or do, you know, just goes to show you, even the ones that's on the independent circuit, you know, it has its way of just going around the bend and getting to those people that might not know about it. And, oh, yeah, that's what happened? Oh, well, no, that's not good. Yeah, we need to do something about that. And so be very careful. Can't stress it enough. Other than that, other wrestling news that I want to point out to you guys, and then we'll open up the phone lines briefly. It looks like WWE is possibly entertaining the idea of bringing back two key wrestlers that played a very serious role in their company in the late 2000s. They're more recently, within the past 5 years, I should say. Looks like they're trying to see if they can bring back Shelton Benjamin, the Golden Standard, and also Montavious Porter, MVP, as they are really looking to have some really great, solid performers, solid workers. And they're taking this advice from a few veteran WWE employees. So it should be noted right now that Shelton Benjamin, he's been doing some work down in Ring of Honor Wrestling mainly, but from time to time he has been teaming up with MVP. He's been hooking up with him off and on down in, I want to say he's been hooking up with him in New Japan Pro Wrestling, I think. They've been teaming up as Black Dynamite, some really great stuff that they've been doing. And, hey, if they can get a hold of those two guys, I would welcome that back. I mean, especially MVP. You know, when I think about Shelton Benjamin, I just always think about the great Money in the Bank ladder matches or the TLC. I just always think about him doing those sweet spots in them ladder matches. If they're going to do it, they better hurry up and make their moves because these guys, they aren't getting any younger. MVP, he is 39 years old. He just had a birthday in October. Shelton Benjamin, in the meantime, he's a little bit younger. He's 37 years old. So, you know, if you're going to do something with these guys, you better do something with them fast. But I love it. I would love to see these two guys come back. I could just think about the great rivalries they could be getting into. Shelton Benjamin maybe doing something with Cody Rhodes. Man, to see MVP do something with John Cena, oh, that would be really freaking solid right there. Or maybe see him do something with Dolph Ziggler. That'd be another great classic matchup right there. Other wrestling-related news I want to let you guys know about. It looks like Shad Gaspard. You guys remember him. He used to be part of Yo, Papa Willie, yo, it's crime time. You remember that little stable there. Well, Shad Gaspard looks like he's got a second episode out of his Beast Mode series. We put it up on our Facebook page. Go check it out. In the episode, Shad's wife is talking about meeting him for the first time and how the two of them had made their first child together. And cameras had also followed Shad around his house, at the gym, around the Hollywood circuit and more. Of course, Shad Gaspard, he's been trying to make that transition from wrestling into acting. It's some really great stuff from what I had saw of Beast Mode number 2. Check that out when you get a chance. New Bret Hart DVD is scheduled to come out. Looks like it's called The Dungeon Collection, and it's going to be on DVD and Blu-ray. The release date for that looks like it's going to be for March 5th, 2013. I got a synopsis for that. It reads as follows. For nearly 30 years, Bret Hitman Hart traveled the globe, proving he was the best there is, best there was, and the best there ever will be. From his roots in his family's own Stampede Wrestling to the bright lights of WWE, WCW, and his watershed return to the ring in 2010, no superstar could match his unmistakable presence in the ring. Known as the excellence of execution, he is widely regarded as the greatest technical wrestler of all time, evidenced by multiple reigns with the Tag Team, Intercontinental, WWE, and World Heavyweight Championships. Now, in this collection, compiled by the Hitman himself, fans can experience Bret Hart's best matches never before released on DVD. That's the key word right there. Never before released on DVD. Bret takes the viewer behind each match in a brand new revealing interview detailing the inside stories surrounding these rare matches. Over 8 hours of in-ring action is presented, including classics from the Stampede Wrestling Vault, as well as vintage WWE bouts against the top stars of the 80s and 90s. Again, that's going to be coming out on March 5th, 2013. If you are a true wrestling fan and you appreciate the Hart family, you'll want to add that to your collection. That's going to be some really great stuff right there. Other wrestling-related news I got for you guys. It looks like Kevin Dunn is kind of meeting a little bit of resistance as far as the massive campaign he's been trying to do for Twitter. He's been trying to have WWE programming get more and more involved with Twitter, want more exposure for it. But so far, Triple H, Vince McMahon, they aren't really too keen on it. They don't want to really increase the exposure of Twitter, especially since they feel they're really not making that much money from it anyway. It's kind of really irrelevant, they feel, as they don't really see that much of a significant difference that Twitter is having on their product. But Kevin Dunn, he's hell-bent on trying to get Twitter shoved down our faces. And quite honestly, I love the fact that it's been scaling back a little bit. Honestly, just do the little subtle touches like they've been doing from time to time. You know, I like that. It shouldn't always have to be every single 5 minutes. Oh, this is tweeting. Just stop. Leave it alone. But, yeah, it's nice to hear that Vince McMahon and Triple H are agreeing on something there, because really that whole Twitter thing, you know, a little too much overkill when they had first started it off there. Other than that, guys, the only other wrestling news that I have for you all, former WWE Raw writer Brian Gewirtz looks like he's expected to be back in a limited capacity in January, which is very convenient when The Rock makes his return to TV. And it should be noted, he really hasn't been doing anything with the promotion since he was properly axed off of being one of the main hit writers for Raw. Now, in case you might have missed it, because we covered it a couple of months back on the RCWR Show, it should be noted that Brian Gewirtz, he has been one of the main guys to write all of the material for The Rock. And The Rock, he trusts Brian. There's nobody else that he wants to work with. He loves working with Brian. So, unfortunately, it looks like as much as WWE would like to fire him, they know that The Rock he really likes him, and so they're keeping him around for him. So that's why he's still sticking around the company. I can't wait to see what they're going to be able to come up with. I think Brian Gerwitz, he just got dealt a really bad hand. I don't really think it was all his fault with regards to what was all happening with Raw, because as we all have seen, Raw has continued to struggle. If anything, Raw's actually kind of done a little worse since he's been removed as the Raw head writer. Some funny stuff right there, but look forward to that. Should be some pretty solid stuff. Hopefully we can get some content that's really up there with what Rock was doing there with John Cena, Pearl Harbor, all that good stuff. That was some classic stuff. I can't wait to see what he's going to be able to do with CM Punk. And other than that, guys, one last thing I thought was very interesting I want to let you guys know about. It looks like WWE is going to be doing a TLC test run this Saturday. I bullshit you not. Some of the matches that's going to be happening at the WWE Super Show in Pennsylvania is going to see John Cena versus Dolph Ziggler, Sheamus versus Big Show for the World Heavyweight Championship, Ryback and Team Hell No versus The Shield, Rey Mysterio versus Alberto Del Rio, Kofi Kingston versus Wade Barrett for the Intercontinental Championship. Nice little test run that they're doing right here. I guess they're trying to work out a few kinks and make sure everything runs smoothly for Sunday's TLC pay-per-view. Hey, I'm all for that. I think this is something that they should do a little bit more often. I'm not, to my knowledge, this is kind of really something new that I'm hearing. Not every day I hear something about, WWE's doing a pay-per-view test run before the real deal. So very curious to see how that's going to work out. For those of you that's listening, if you happen to be at that event, you can email us how the experience was, how everything played out. Email us at infinityOneProductions@gmail.com, and we'll actually share it the next time that we come on the air, probably most likely this Saturday. And that's going to do it, man. We had so much content that we had to cover. If I'd have known we were going to be going this long, I would have made the show longer. I only reserved 90 minutes for tonight, so we got to wrap the show up. And it's unfortunate, too, because we actually had a couple of new callers that wanted to call into the show on top of our usual callers. We humbly apologize about that. But we do extend an invitation to you to check out Thursday night's Impact Showdown Radio. It's going to come on at 10 p.m. Eastern immediately after TNA Wrestling. And what we'll do is, for you guys that called into the show and we weren't able to take your calls tonight, we humbly want you guys to call in to Thursday's show. We will dedicate, I'll make sure we extend the show a little bit. We'll make sure that we dedicate a portion to you guys. And you can actually talk about what had happened on Raw. We'll make up for it that way. We usually try to keep it separate, but you can bring up Raw or WWE-related stuff on Impact Showdown Radio this Thursday night. So make sure you join us for that. And in the meantime, the talk of wrestling doesn't end right here. Be sure to follow us at infinityOneProductions.com for all the latest in WWE wrestling-related news, TNA wrestling-related news, and so much more. Also subscribe to us in the iTunes, Zune marketplaces. Just use the keywords, guys. The RCWR Show. That's going to do it. We're going to be on a 30-plus hour break till we hear from you guys this Thursday night, 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern. I'm the Black Avenger, Lee Sanders. You all be safe and be kind to one another, folks. See you later. Take care.